Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is Montana This Morning from Montana's news leader.
Well, good morning and thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Justine Stewart.
And I'm Louis Storch. Hope you're having a good start to your Friday. Justine made it to the end of the week.
It's always nice to say that. A little bit of a cold start, not as bad as yesterday as you were saying, but I did see some snowflakes falling, not many.
Yeah, it's a little bit of light snow out there this morning in some areas. We do have another advisory in place, so if you're doing any traveling this morning, give yourself a little extra time, as especially go over those high elevation passes over to along the Montana and Idaho border. That's where we can see the most snow, 2 to 4 inches possible. Some areas could pick up around 6 inches, so that could make for some difficult driving conditions at times. Again, this is going to last until 12 p.m. this afternoon. Here's a look at your forecast headlines. Low pressure, rain and snow today. Slowly warming though. We'll see 40s on Saturday, 50s on Sunday, and then high pressure is going to build in for next week. 50s and sunny skies to start your next work and school week. Here's a look at your Friday forecast. 43 in Missoula, Kalispell, 44 in Hamilton. We'll see 46 in Polson.
University of Montana President-elect Seth Bodnar has officially arrived in Missoula. As the incoming administrator waits for his tenure to begin, he is spending his time familiarizing himself with the students and faculty at UM. As MTN's Eric Clemens reports, Bodnar expects a smooth transition from the previous administration to his.
University of Montana President-elect Seth Bodnar has officially arrived in Missoula and is ready to begin the transition process to take the reins from the current top administrator, Sheila Stearns. Bodnar says that during this transition process, he's excited to get to know the faculty and students that make the University of Montana what it is.
The way you do that is spending time with them and really understanding in their environment what they do on a day-to-day basis, what their needs are, what their ideas are. And you only get that perspective by spending time with them. Students are the lifeblood of this university. They are the reason we're here, and they have both great ideas and terrific passion for this place.
Bodnar, at 38 years old, is one of the youngest people to serve as UM president, joining Charles Clapp and James McCain, who were both also 38 years old when appointed. The West Point graduate says his selection is
both a dream come true and a tremendous responsibility to those who've gone before us in the first 125 years of this institution and those who will come after us for the next 1,000 years of this great university.
The president-elect arrived in Missoula just in time for homecoming festivities. With a broad smile, he divulged his celebration plans.
Going up the M to light it, and then going to run in the homecoming hustle tomorrow morning to benefit the athletic department, and then we will be at the tailgates and the game. So a nice full schedule. We're literally hitting the ground running.
In Missoula, Eric Clements, MTN News.
Bodnar assumes the office of the president of the University of Montana January 1st. Crime at the University of Montana seems to be taking a downturn, according to a new report by campus police. MTN's Augusta McDonald shows us what measures have been implemented to keep students safe.
Additional UM Residence Life staff moved into student housing in 2014, and statistics suggest their presence might be helping to drop the amount of drug and alcohol use on campus. They added several full-time area coordinators to oversee each of the buildings.
So we're now in our 4th year of those positions, and having a person in the building that can follow up quickly with students in respect to violations or helping them if they're struggling with particular issues, I think has helped in regard to the drop in alcohol and drug violations in our residence halls.
Liquor law violations on campus cut in half from 2014 to 2015, dropping from 417 to 215. That number dipped slightly lower last year. All but one violation occurred in student housing.
Even as the number of substance use violations went down, another statistic almost doubled. The number of rapes reported increased, but officials say that might actually be a good thing.
UMPD fully implemented a new sexual assault investigation policy in 2015 to comply with an agreement they made with the Department of Justice after that agency investigated issues with UM's handling of sexual assaults.
It's something that we expected when we initially began creating policies around sex assault investigation, and the independent reviewer and Department of Justice people that we were working with on that all informed us that a rise in reporting would be indicative of better public trust.
In 2014, there were 11 reports of rape on campus. In 2015, 2 reports, and in 2016, 22 reports. Gladwin says ramped up programs for victims of sexual assault and general awareness could have helped, although there was a chill in reporting in 2015. Thousands of students have now been trained by the Student Advocacy Resource Center on bystander intervention. Reporting in Missoula, I'm Augusta McDonald for MTN News.
The report is completed in compliance with the Clary Act, a federal mandate that ensures public transparency about campus policing and safety. Well, 3 Montana Democrats are already campaigning for the nomination to take on Montana's new Congressman, Republican Greg Gianforte, next year. One of them is Billings attorney John Heenan, who spoke this week with MTN's chief political reporter Mike Dennison about his candidacy.
John Heenan is a political novice in Montana, making his first run for office. He spent his career as an attorney, representing people with grievances against banks, insurance companies, and other entities. Now, the 40-year-old lawyer says he wants to represent all of Montana against what he calls powerful interests.
My only agenda is to do exactly what I do as a consumer protection lawyer, take exactly the same sides, ethic, efforts on behalf of all Montanans in Congress in a system where I just truly feel like there's no one there that really has people's backs.
Heenan's law firm won a $2 million judgment in 2015 for a Billings couple whose house was mistakenly foreclosed upon and sold by a bank. And in 2014, it won a $2.7 million verdict for a Billings woman denied insurance payments when her husband was killed by another driver. Heenan says he opposes Republican moves to reduce federal regulations on big banks. He also says the Trump tax cut plan is skewed toward the wealthy, offering the bulk of its benefits to those who don't really need them.
I love the idea of how do we give tax cuts to working Montanans, people that deserve it the most, that need it the most. I hate the idea of increasing our federal deficit and taking away from spending on programs so that we can add more money to people that already are billionaires.
When asked about gun laws, Heenan says he's not going to Washington to push any gun legislation. He also says he favors a Medicare for all healthcare system and believes it can make the system less expensive and more efficient. As we said, Heenan is one of 3 Democrats already competing to take on Representative Gianforte next year, yet none is well known by Montana voters. In the coming weeks, we'll be talking to the other 2 candidates as well. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
The 2 other Democrats in the race are former Land Trust Director Grant Keir of Missoula and State Representative Tom Woods of Bozeman. All right, going to send on over to Lewis now. He's standing by with your weather on the 8s.
All right, thank you, Justine. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a great start to your Friday. Had a little bit of snow yesterday. Winter came to many valley locations. This was sent in to us by Sarah. No location where this was, but still, though, a very nice picture with that snow falling. Sarah, thank you so much for that. And then for most of us, the snow melted as we got into the afternoon time, and it wasn't too bad. Had some sunshine peeking through the clouds. This is sent in to us by Harry down near Stevensville yesterday. Beautiful colors here. Harry, thank you so much for that, and keep your pictures coming because we are getting some really nice ones sent in to us here at the Weather Center. Here's your temperatures this morning. We're mostly in the 30s. We're at 37 in Missoula, 36 Polson, 33 in Kalispell, 37 in Hamilton, 31 Phillipsburg, 30 degrees this morning. Waking up in Seeley Lake. And yes, we do have some rain showers and snow showers still moving through. Most of it is all snow this morning. We're going to get a little bit of rain mixed in as we get late morning and afternoon, as those temperatures are going to warm up above freezing, only in the upper 30s and lower 40s though for highs. So moving in a little bit closer, yeah, we have some snow falling around Polson, around Kalispell, over towards Seeley Lake, Plains in Superior, and then moving a little bit further to the south. A break right now from Missoula and Stevensville. A little bit of light snow around Hamilton. Looks a little like another batch is going to move in from Idaho, and just expect this sort of activity off and on snow showers sticking with us pretty much throughout the day today. Now, another thing, if you are going to be traveling, could run into some tricky or slippery roads, especially as you get in the higher elevations over the passes along the Montana and Idaho border. So as we take a look at our travel watch, Marias Pass, Lookout Pass, and Lolo Pass, we have wet streets right now. Head over towards Lost Trail Pass. That's where we're getting some slushy roads there. And then McDonald Pass, a little bit off to the east, we're going to be dry. So just if you are traveling, check these road conditions before you head out, because we could get some tricky roads, especially as we move throughout the morning and the snow continues to fall. Here's your 7-day forecast for Missoula. 45 today, 51 tomorrow. Then we're going to warm it up as we move into next week with middle and upper 50s Monday and Tuesday. Kalispell 46 today. We'll see 50 tomorrow, and then we'll be looking at temperatures in the 50s as we roll into the remainder of the week. And then Hamilton 46, 54, and then we'll see those temperatures starting to warm up by the middle and end of next week.
All right, not a bad looking few days in store for us.
No, it's going to be nice. Let's get through today, and then we have much nicer temperatures in the forecast.
All right, sounds good. And stick around. We're right back after this. But first, here's some birthday shout outs for you this morning.